Welcome to Germany for round number 5 of season 2 of 8-scale nitro buggy racing. Getting set to go here with our A-Main action. Javon Candy starting the number 1 spot. Wollanka, Backemeyer, Allen and Marson, Didrikson, and Queen.
5, 4,
Missing a few drivers out of our
3.
top 10 here in this one. Off and underway. Good clean start for these drivers starting here in this one. Working their way onto the back side of the track now. Javon Candy going to be out front. Starting that pole position in the red and white machine. Company coming up behind him now. Martin Wollanka in the number 2 spot. Kirby Backemeyer in that number 3 spot. Jumping. Oh, in trouble there in the back of the pack. That's a tricky section right there. We'll let these drivers get one lap in the books. We'll see where everybody's sitting at here in this one. A lot of close racing here this season in VRC-Pro Nitro 8-scale buggy racing. Javon Candy coming around for lap number 1. Your leader out front. Leading the way right now, Martin Wollanka in the number 2 spot. Klaus Didrikson in the number 3 spot. Lee Queen in the number 4 spot. Marson, Hallinan, and Kirby Backemeyer. Backemeyer having that trouble in the big double section. Here's Martin Wollanka, the Austrian driver. Driving for Team X-Ray. Klaus Didrikson in the number 3 spot. Working his way in there. Oh, Didrikson with a mistake there. Jumping down into the ditch section. As you can see, as they jump back up, they caught that inside curb. Run the TLR buggy there, spinning him around, dropping in the back of the pack. A lot of racing left to go for these drivers, though. And more trouble there for Didrikson coming onto the front straight, it looked like. Martin Wollanka in the number 2 spot, chasing down your leader, Javon Candy. Dan Marson in the number 3 spot, Lee Queen in the 4. Jarno Hallinan in that number 5 spot. Your top 2 drivers starting to spread out just a little bit right now with a 1.2 second lead on Dan Marson. As you can see, those drivers, that's actually a double. And then they try to triple down into that ditch section. While the short course truck guys are able to do it, the 8-scale buggies struggling just a little bit. And Martin Wollanka battle for the lead now, coming down the front stretch, chasing down Javon Candy. Javon Candy, he's got his work cut out for him, tripling into the corner through the switchback sections. Martin Wollanka looking for the inside line, and he's got it. Martin Wollanka, now your leader, side by side down the back stretch they go. Martin Wollanka going to be out front. Javon Candy in the number 2 spot now. Those 2 drivers going to be right there together. There you see Javon Candy in the red and white buggy. Martin Wollanka in the orange and black buggy. Javon getting a little bit of drive into the big triple section. Through those sweeping switchbacks right there. Martin Wollanka back out front now. Started the number 2 spot. He is your leader though. Javon Candy looking strong. Javon looking to the inside now. On the right hand side of the track they go. Triple to the corner. Javon Candy with the inside line on him. Through the switchback section. Javon not letting him out of his sights here in this one. Down the back stretch they go now. Martin Wollanka going to be out front, leading the way. Javon Candy in that number 2 spot. Coming back around to that big air section. There you see Javon Candy reaching for it on that one. Through the sweeping switchback section. There's Lee Queen, our 3rd place driver. Lee Queen, that blue and white buggy looking smooth here in this one. He's got company coming up behind him though. Hallinan and Marson going to be right there with him. Backemeyer starting to get back into the race now as well. Didrikson, oh, and I believe that was Backemeyer with more trouble coming onto the front stretch. Lee Queen, the number 4 spot. Dan Marson in that number 3 spot. Martin Wollanka right now your leader, trying to stretch it out on the field. Javon Candy could be 0.6 of a second back from him right now. Javon Candy fast through that big air section right there. Through the switchbacks they go once again. Martin Wollanka, the X-Ray driver. Out front, leading the way here in this one. Javon Candy, your TQ here in Germany. Sitting in that number 2 spot right now. Still a lot of racing left to go for these drivers. As they head into the back right section now. Up and over the back tabletop section. Javon Candy looking pretty smooth here in this one. Martin Wollanka with a few faster laps. Has stretched out his lead to about a second on Javon Candy. There you see Javon jumping almost into that ditch. Here's a battle now. That's Jarno Hallinan. Battle for that 3rd and 4th place spot with Dan Marson. Marson, that purple and yellow machine. Yellow wheels, yellow wing. Marson in the back left corner he goes. This section over here, very tricky from the driver's stand. Very difficult to see exactly where you are on the track. This is a huge track here in Germany. That back straightaway, very far away for these drivers. Dan Marson looking smooth right now in the number 3 spot. Hallinan trying to chase him down in that number 4 spot. Up and over the double section they go, coming back into the center section. We'll see if either one of these guys triple into the ditch section. Oh, Dan Marson. Big air right there, so Marson airing it out. If you can air it out like that, definitely gain some time, but it's a risky move, that's for sure. Marson trying to catch up to the leaders right now, Javon Candy and Martin Wollanka. Oh, and trouble back there. That was Howland and having to get corner marshaled there, clipping that inside curb, coming onto the front stretch. That's going to change things up now. Kirby Backemeyer and Lee Queen battling out now in the 4th and 5th place spot. Lee Queen in the blue and white. He's going to be sitting in 4th right now. Kirby Backemeyer. Backemeyer now up into the 4th place spot. Lee Queen drops to the 5th place spot. Up and over the big air jump they go. As you can see the track there, a lot of the jumps covered in AstroTurf, trying to hold the dirt together. The rest of the track rough and gnarly, making it difficult for these drivers. Lee Queen coming around on the front side now in the number 5 spot. Lee Queen crossed the line on that one with a 34.9 his fast lap, 35.4 on that last one. Javon Candy now taking over the top spot here in this one. Getting set for some pit stops here. Martin Wollanka dropping back to the number 2 spot now. I don't believe he is pitted yet. We'll have to wait and see when they come around here. Javon Candy out front leading the way. Martin Wollanka in the number 2 spot now. Dan Marson in the number 3 spot. So Wollanka must have had a rough lap on the last one. Didn't see what happened to him, but he's dropped back to the number 2 spot now. Coming back through that center section once again. Martin Wollanka chasing down Javon Candy. As they aired out there you see Martin Wollanka trying to take the safe line through those big sweeping switchbacks once again. Wollanka got the buggy working good. Soaking up the rough stuff here in this one. 7 minutes down here in this race. These guys are going to start making their pit stops here shortly. That should change things up just a bit. Martin Wollanka going to be out in the number 2 spot. He was out front leading the way in this one, but Javon Candy has caught back up and has taken over the top spot. Javon Candy, your TQ here in Germany. Only 7 drivers on the track here in this A-Main. Accustomed to our full 10-car A-Main, but unfortunately 3 of those drivers from qualifying not able to make the A-Main here in this one. Candy, Wollanka, Backemeyer, Marson, Queen, Hallinan, and Didrikson, your running order. And the battle for the lead heating up now. Martin Wollanka closing the gap. Wollanka making an inside move. Not able to make it stick, though. Javon Candy driving that Kyosho machine. Trying to close the gap back up on him. And Martin Wollanka now up into the lead. Javon Candy dropped back to the number 2 spot. Up into the double section they go. Javon Candy. Huge air right there. Javon Candy not letting Wollanka off the hook easy here in this one. Martin Wollanka back out front, but Javon Candy charging hard, trying to catch back up to him. This race heating up here in this one. They have an 8.5 second lead on 3rd of Kirby Backemeyer. Wollanka looking strong there in the orange and white X-ray machine. Make a little bit of a mistake there. Javon Candy trying to close the gap back up on him. Over the back tabletop section they go. Now watch as they come here into the big air triple. Javon Candy absolutely flying over this right here. Look at that air time for Javon Candy. Tripling down into the ditch. You know, I tell you though, he didn't gain that much time on Martin Wollanka. That's a risky move. As you can see, down the front stretch they go now. Martin Wollanka out front leading the way here in this one. Javon Candy in that number 2 spot. 8 minutes down here in this one. These drivers still have not yet made their pit stops. And just like I say that, there's Martin Wollanka. Looks like Javon Candy coming in for fuel on that last one. So we'll see if Martin Wollanka makes a pit stop here on this one. Wollanka right now, he's got clear track ahead of him and behind him, but that should change things back up. There you saw Javon Candy's car coming into the screen, airing it out in that big section. Wollanka going on by here. So Wollanka with an interesting pit strategy. Javon Candy coming down the front stretch now. Javon onto the right-hand side. He's going to be 8.6 seconds back from Martin Wollanka. Wollanka coming back around here. Now see, watch right here as Wollanka, he doubles, flatlands, drops down through the ditch. Javon Candy jumping all the way down into that ditch. And we'll see if Martin Wollanka makes a pit stop here on this one. On the left-hand side he goes, and no! He goes on by once again. So Martin Wollanka, definitely a different pit strategy than Javon Candy. That's going to change things up a bit. Javon's still going to be 8.4 seconds back. There's Kirby Backemeyer. Kirby Backemeyer in the number 3 spot. Backemeyer trying to close that gap up on Javon Candy, but he is 11 seconds back. So the field right now is starting to really spread themselves out. Martin Wollanka going to be out front leading the way. We'll see if he pits on this lap. And yes. Oh no! Martin Wollanka with a huge mistake coming into pit lane. A last-minute decision to pit, and it cost him right there. Rolls it over coming into pit lane. Javon Candy now going to take the lead back from Martin Wollanka. Wollanka just now coming out of the pits. Going to be 1.9 seconds back from your leader. So that is going to shake things up here in this one. Martin Wollanka definitely making a long run there on the fuel. A last-minute decision to make that pit stop, and a huge mistake costing the lead to Javon Candy. Javon Candy, your TQ out front right now, 2 seconds ahead of Martin Wollanka. Here's your leader, Javon Candy. Run that Kyosho buggy coming down the front stretch. He goes in the red and white. Here comes Martin Wollanka crossing the line. As they cross, it's going to be 2.8 seconds between them right now. Kirby Backemeyer trying to close that gap up on him as well. Kirby coming down the front stretch. There's Dan Marson in the number 4 spot. Klaus Didrikson in that number 5 spot. Lee Queen in the 6. And Jarno Hallinan in the number 7 spot. Good race for all these drivers here so far in this one. Javon Candy still going to be out front right now. Coming down that front stretch once again. Lap number 19 in the book here in this one. 2.5 seconds ahead of Martin Wollanka. Javon Candy looking for a possible win here in this one. Still a lot of racing left to go for these drivers, though. Javon coming back into that center section. There you see starting to calm it down just a little bit now that he's out front in the lead with a solid 2.5 second lead right now on Martin Wollanka. So Wollanka, he's going to have to pick up the pace or hope for some misfortune to fall in the hands of Javon Candy, as Candy looking nice and smooth here in this one. On to the right-hand side of the track, tripling. There's Martin Wollanka. Wollanka closing the gap up now, gained 0.4 of a second on him in 1 lap. So Martin Wollanka laying it down right now, closing that gap up on these drivers. Through the switchback section he goes. Airing it out. Oh, Martin Wollanka. What a save right there. Check out Wollanka right here. Airing it out, gets it sideways, whips the wheels, brings the car back into shape. So Martin Wollanka getting lucky there on that one. Coming around to the front stretch, Martin Wollanka crossing the line on this one, 2.1 seconds back from Javon Candy. So stayed about the same on that last lap. There you can see Javon in the picture frame there. Down the back stretch they go. Into the replay camera section. Martin Wollanka charging hard, trying to hug that inside line. Wollanka, no stranger to the top step of the podium, in and out of VRC-Pro. So Wollanka right now just trying to keep everything together, knows he's got time, trying to stay smooth, trying to catch up to Javon Candy. Javon onto the left side, down to the front stretch now. Javon Candy crossing the line with a 1.5 second lead. So Martin Wollanka closed the gap by half a second on that last lap. Javon Candy right now, the nerves may be getting to him just a little bit. The red and white Kyosho car there, you see Martin Wollanka sneaking into the picture. Airing it out into the big triple section. Into that back left corner they go. Coming down the front stretch now. Javon Candy crossing the line. 0.9 of a second on Martin Wollanka. So Martin Wollanka, another half a second gain on that last lap. This is going to come right down to the wire here in this one. Less than 7 minutes to go. Martin Wollanka closes the gap up. Less than a car length now. Javon Candy make a little bit of mistake, getting loose coming out of that corner there. Martin Wollanka charging hard now. He smells blood in the water. Through the back left section they go. Wollanka tried to make the inside pass. Not quite close enough to make it stick, though. Down the front stretch they go. It's a drag race between the two. Up and over the triple section they go. Wollanka looking at the inside line. Javon Candy holding strong right now. Into the back right brick corner they go. And Martin Wollanka airs it out up into the lead now. Wollanka now up into the top spot. Javon Candy drops back to second. Coming around to the big air section, Javon Candy back over the top now. Javon Candy drops into the lead. Martin Wollanka takes it back. Through the switchback section they go once again. Martin Wollanka back out to the front now. Javon Candy in the number 2 spot. Onto the left-hand side they go. Coming down the front stretch. These two drivers back and forth this entire race. Javon Candy had a little bit of a break midway when Martin Wollanka crashed coming into the pits. We'll see how the second pit stop shakes down here for these guys. Through the switchback section they go, coming around into the big air section. Javon Candy airing it out once again, nice and smooth though. Into the back left corner they go. They got some traffic coming up ahead of them. Through the AE corner they go. Back around to the front side. Javon Candy right now is going to be 0.4 seconds back from your leader. Nothing that then now. Martin Wollanka make a little bit of a mistake there. Javon Candy now closing that gap up onto the back straight they go. Coming up into some lap traffic. We'll see how they work it out. 1 and 2 going to be right there together. Into the big air section once again. Javon Candy almost jumping all the way into that ditch. Through the sweeping switchbacks. Wollanka caught up in that traffic ahead of him. Javon Candy in the number 2 spot. And Javon Candy coming in for fuel on that one. Javon Candy in and on the wall. Good pit stop for him there. In and out. Very good pit stop there for Wollanka. I'm sorry, for Javon Candy. Martin Wollanka out front. We'll see when Wollanka pits here in this one. Martin Wollanka with a very different pit strategy. Wollanka making a mistake there. That's going to cost him a little bit of time, especially after the pit stops. Martin Wollanka onto the left-hand side of the track he goes, coming down the front stretch once again. No sign of a pit stop on that lap. And lap traffic there running right there with him. Martin Wollanka out front with a 7.7 second lead on Javon Candy right now. Wollanka up and over the big air section. Here's where he made his mistake that last lap. You can see those inside curb styles. Definitely taller than the rest of the track piping, and you get caught up on those inside and it'll spin you right around, that's for sure. Martin Wollanka once again going on by pit lane. Javon Candy right now, he's got some catching up to do, but I got a feeling Martin Wollanka's pit stop going to be coming up here in just a few. Javon Candy up and over the triple section he goes, a little slow-mo action. Through the switchbacks, look how tight he got there on that corner. Rubbing that inside pipe. Wollanka working his way back around now. And a pit stop. No! Martin Wollanka still going. Could Martin Wollanka be going all the way here in this one? He may be going without another pit stop. If that's the case, he's got an 8-second lead on Javon Candy. And he will seal the deal here in this one. We'll have to wait and see. That is going to be pushing, especially on this fast of a track. Martin Wollanka into the back section he goes right now. Still without a pit stop. And once again he goes on by. It's looking more and more like he's going to try and go these final 10 minutes without making a pit stop. If that is the case, he has got this one in the bag if he can make it, because Javon Candy is 8.4 seconds back. Kirby Backemeyer in the number 3 spot, Dan Marson in the 4. Klaus Didrikson in that number 5, still Lee Queen and Jarno Hallonen. As you can see there, Martin Wollanka rubbing those inside pipes. Coming around here on this one. With a minute 30 to go, Martin Wollanka has gone on by. He, I believe, is going to go this entire race. It would seem rather silly to make a pit stop now. He has got an 8.4 second lead on Javon Candy. So Wollanka right now looking for yet another win here in this one. 1 minute left to go on the race clock. Through the sweeping sections he goes. Martin Wollanka into the back left corner now. Dropping down the front stretch he goes. Goes on by. He's going to go for the whole 20-minute race here in this one. On to the back side of the track he goes. He's going to get one more lap after this one. There's Javon Candy in that number 2 spot. Javon Candy right now, all he can hope for is either a flame out or a major crash from Martin Wollanka. Wollanka working his way around. He's going to get one more lap after this one. Workers, well, I believe that's going to be Dan Marson, your 4th place driver. Oh, and Martin Wollanka with a last-minute pit stop 20 seconds left to go on the race clock, and he makes a pit stop. This is going to spice things up. One final lap to go. Javon Candy coming down the front stretch now. Going to be right there with Martin Wollanka. Less than a straightaway length apart. 1.7 seconds. Down the backstretch they go. So Martin Wollanka, a surprise pit stop with 20 seconds to go. I did not see that one coming. Wow. Right now, though, he's come out of this one on top. He is a 1.7 second lead. One final time. And it paid off. A splash to go to keep him running. Martin Wollanka taking a big win here in Germany. Javon Candy going to be coming around that number 2 spot. Kirby Backemeyer working his way around for a solid 3rd place finish. Down the front stretch he goes. What a race right there. Wow. Martin Wollanka taking the win. Javon Candy 2nd. Kirby Backemeyer, Dan Morrison, Claus Didrikson, Lee Queen, and Jarno Hallinan.